Welcome to CTV. I hope Gary has the cameras working, because if he doesn't, then I'm doing the intro for nothing. This is a brand new show right here at Comicstorian, which goes to Patreon first, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where only $1 gets you early access to our videos and a bunch of podcasts, from this podcast to the Comics Experiment to the Conspiracy Cast. Dan's signaling me to do something.
Well, I was actually going to say you can get it even earlier if you come to our twitch.tv/EligibleMonster channel on Mondays, where we start at 2 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch it when we film it.
Right, so let me explain that real quick, because I'm going to explain this every week. We do film this on Monday, and we pretty much watch as many of the shows as we can from the prior week. That means when you watch this on Comicstorian on Wednesday, and there has been a new episode of Arrow and a new episode of Flash, we did not watch those. This is not the show that we're going to be doing to try and keep up to date as it's out within an hour of the episode. If you want that kind of stuff, go check out our buddy Charlie over at Emergency Awesome, because I'm not even competing with that. We're just going to weekly talk about our shows.
That's the second episode that you said that.
Right, we're going to almost every episode because
every episode.
Because here's the problem.
He's going to say it till Charlie says that hey, if you don't want it right away, you should go check out Comicstorian TV, and that's when our lives will be complete.
No, but anyway, simply put, the first episode that I don't mention that, someone's going to be like, "What? You guys didn't watch Flash last night?"
They're going to sound exactly like that too.
What? No.
What?
That's what they're going. Why are you guys doing that? You put this out on Wednesday. You could easily watch The Flash. That's why I tell people, we're wise guys.
Is that what people sound like in your head? Because that's crazy.
Everyone sounds like that. Even you. It's like a British. Like, this is a wise guy. Crumpets and tidy.
That would be Dan, actually, not me.
Oh, Dan T. Nips.
All right, then.
So anyway, guys, you can get this insanity every Monday live at about 2 p.m.
really
Eastern.
Be a full moon. Because we're all crazy.
And probably every about Tuesday over on our Patreon, and Wednesday morning on Comicstorian, until you guys stop watching it, in which case it will only go to Twitch and Patreon. So keep watching it, sharing it with your friends if you want this to exist here.
Yeah.
On today's show, we're going to have... I'm going to tell you about my opinions on the first season premiere episode of Supernatural. We will then have...
What? I didn't do that.
We'll then have me, Natalie, and Dan talking about Titans. Then Natalie and Dan will probably talk about Disenchanted to the best of Natalie's memory.
Disenchantment.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, you might want to just pronounce it.
You guys are going to talk about it, not me.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That'll be the couch moment.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be the couch moment.
Just
Looking forward
ignore
to it.
him.
I know, yeah.
That's it. Welcome to the beautiful thing of 3 cameras. Anyway, and we're also then going to have, after, it'll be Titans, Disenchantment, then it'll be me and Gary talking about Flash and Doctor Who to wrap up the week.
Yes.
Don't worry guys, it is the beginning of the week. One thing, we all forgot Black Lightning. I didn't realize that the season started until yesterday.
I forgot it existed. No.
Yeah.
No, I've actually been enjoying it, so I'm going to be watching that, but I did not watch it for this podcast.
Season 2?
Season 2 is now up, yeah.
Netflix?
Yep. No, it's not on Netflix yet. It's on CW with the rest of it.
That's why I did not.
Right, and that's where we got to get used to that. And we are going to be tracking Arrow. We're going to be tracking Supergirl. We're going to be tracking some other random shows like Doctor Who and Supernatural and things like that on this podcast. But this is how we're going to break it up today. I guess we can ignore you guys on the couch for a moment. Let me tell you a little bit about Supernatural. Season 14. Season 14. Okay, so when we last left off with Supernatural...
Yes, please give me a synopsis of the show Supernatural.
I'm going to give you a synopsis where we left off in 13. Okay,
Yeah.
so season 13 involved them going to an alternate dimension, and in the alternate dimension, we see an alternate timeline in which God left, Michael took over, and an apocalyptic world happened. Dean and Sam's mother went over there, the Nephilim went over there, the Nephilim, Jack went over there is what his name is.
The mother's back?
The mother's back, yep. So they were all in this other world, so Dean and Sam had to go to the other world to save them.
When did that happen?
Season 12.
Okay.
So anyway, season 13 involved them going to the other universe to try and save the mother and get back Jack, who is the child of Lucifer and a human woman, making a Nephilim, which is apparently human and angel and more powerful than anything. Castiel's been training him to be a good guy, teaching him, because Lucifer abandoned his child, as Lucifer does. So at the end of season 13, we were left on a cliffhanger in which they finally had the portal back home, but as they were all jumping through, I forget the exact logistics of the whole thing, but Lucifer got stopped by Michael and Dean was somehow involved, and it basically came down to Dean offering himself up to Michael, who you may remember from seasons 1 through 5, that Michael was actually looking for the perfect vessel, which is Dean. So Dean offered himself to Michael to be the perfect vessel if he let everyone live, and in that process, Lucifer got killed, and he was wiped out. Bring us to season 14, okay? Now, Dean is now Vessel Dean. He's not Demon Dean, he's Vessel Dean. And he wears a really bad outfit, but he's basically Michael. And he's walking around basically, he's basically going around and just talking to angels at this point. Okay, and on top of that, we have Sam dealing with the minions of hell and who's gonna be the new king of hell. The biggest problem I have with this episode is they've stopped caring about new viewers. That's my biggest issue.
It sounds like they stopped caring quite a while ago.
Like
The season kicks off.
season 5.
The season kicks off with the usual. I don't even think they had the song, but any Supernatural fan knows the typical opening to a Supernatural episode. Carry on my way. Okay, that kicks
Yes.
off. Then they do the flashback, and we see everything that's been going on. That happened, but it really didn't fill in. And literally halfway through this episode, I was still trying to remember what happened in season 13's finale.
The fact that you forgot is saying something.
That's what I'm
'cause you're
saying.
kind of obsessed.
I do love the series too. Like, I'm sitting there going, wait, okay, so Dean is Vessel, got that. Like, why is Lucifer not here? Oh, right, Lucifer got killed. And I'm like, I'm sitting here, and so basically the season is now, Lucifer's vessel is Nick, and Nick is free of Lucifer, but he didn't die like most vessels do. So I don't know what the hell we're doing with that. The mother is here working with Sam, and they decided to prevent the new king of hell from happening, and Dean is walking around talking to angels. It didn't feel like a season finale, a premiere.
Does Crowley still exist?
He died like season 11.
Oh, but he was a good character.
Literally, like season 11 he died. Like 11, maybe 12.
Oh my, every time you talk about Supernatural, part of me's like, I should catch back up. Then I hear stuff like this and I'm like, I should not even try.
Nope.
So anyway, this didn't feel to me like it was a season premiere. A lot of it felt to me like it was the finale of season 13 still. Because we got left on the big cliffhanger. Oh no, Dean's is a vessel finally. Michael's in his body. And then this episode is basically Sam being like, no more king of hell. And if you try, you're coming through me. And Dean's walking around being like Vessel Dean talking to angels. And like nothing really happened. It's like we have to figure out what's going on with Dean. The demons of hell are coming back, but oh no, Sam stopped them. And like, I didn't feel like a season premiere. I didn't feel like we were beginning a new tale. I felt like we're just picking up where we left off, which isn't terrible for Supernatural, because I don't know if I'm 100% accurate in this. I know they're looking towards the finale, but they're coming to the end. And that may be why this season they're just like, no one is starting Supernatural for the first time ever at season 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're screwed.
Yeah. No, that is the correct answer right there. It sounds like it's designed only for the hardcore fans of the show.
And maybe they finally just said, at this point, we're not getting new viewers.
Right.
We're going to get either the people like you who are going to want to catch up, or we're going to get the people like me who are caught up and just trying to remember what happened 7 months ago or 6 months ago. And maybe that's what they're catering to, but I didn't feel excitement about this episode.
So did you like it, or was it?
It was just mediocre. To me, it honestly felt like a filler episode. Like it would have gone in the middle of season 13, not the premiere of this season. Because nothing really came out of this. We get to see like, okay, Jack doesn't have his powers.
And you're positive it was the premiere of season 14?
Yeah, no, I was waiting for it. I mean, Jack doesn't have his powers and he's getting them back. Nick is now, Lucifer's not in Nick's body. Sam's fighting against the demons. The mom's helping out. Bobby's back because he's from the other dimension.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's back.
I liked Bobby.
So, no, excuse me. To me, it just felt like overall, it was just, welcome back. And that was pretty much it. Like, it wasn't like a, holy crap, what's happening this season? It was like, wow, does Dean really got to wear that hat that Gary wears that I make fun of?
Dean can pull off a lot of stuff.
He can pull off a lot. This may be borderline as close as far as Dean can go.
That's saying something.
He's got the flat cap and he looks like I think it's like a Castiel trench coat, but it's proper and not Castiel style, where it looks like it's one size too big
It's
in
a
a cape.
Castiel trench coat that's not Castiel trench coat. You know, that classic thing. That very specific article of clothing.
But yeah, I mean, I know the season's going to lead. Jack's going to get his grace back. Nick's probably not going to be free of Lucifer. That's why. Because the big question is, how did Nick survive? Because normally when the vessel's killed, the vessel's killed.
Yeah.
My theory is that Nick is still alive because Lucifer went into hiding in him instead of dying. Like, he's still in there, he's keeping the vessel alive, but he finally let Nick drive for a little while.
He's a pilot light waiting to...
And that's kind of what I think is going on with that.
Okay.
The Sam versus the demon of hell thing. I was like, why? Like, at this point, why are you even mad? Like, it was basically a battle to become the new Crowley. And like Sam's like, no one's doing it. No, we had no deal with Crowley. Like, you kind of did. You kind of had a little deal.
Really, Sam?
It may have been an unwritten and an entirely non-verbal agreement, but you definitely didn't kill Crowley the 90 times you spent time with Crowley.
Right. Is it worth watching if
Definitely,
you have been
If you've been
it?
watching, yes, get back in, check it out. I was enjoying it. But I don't know, it just didn't feel like, yes, Supernatural's back. It was like, Supernatural's back. Here we go. That's what it just felt like to me, you know?
I kind of wanted to get back in until you told me that...
Well, the last season of 14 seasons may be the worst time to do so, Dan. Maybe you should start at where you left off, which was what, like 2?
3 and a half.
You have a little ways to
Be
go.
fair, they're hour-long episodes, and I think every season has like 20 episodes.
22 to 23, I think.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, I know. I binge watched it all.
It's a very hard show to catch.
Was it last year? I think it was last summer. I had left off on season 11
Literally
and I binge
the
watched.
whole summer.
I did. It was just on loop down here, and I was playing something on PlayStation,
Where I actually remember it.
and I was just working my way through all of the Supernatural episodes to catch up because I had left off at 11. But so Titans. So, speaking of losing all hope, that Titans show.
Losing all hope? What?
The character of Nightwing, aka Dick Grayson, aka Robin, aka Bloody R.
What about it?
So what I mean by losing all hope is what apparently is going on with Dick Grayson. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with you, Natalie, because you didn't get to say anything during the Supernatural segment. What did you think of
You
Titans?
just lost me like 10 minutes ago. I just zoned out. I heard
Don't you
Michael
find Dean
and I was
sexy?
like, no.
What? Do you find Sam
No,
sexy?
no.
Do you
He's
find
a terrible
Castiel sexy?
actor. No.
Wait. You got to pick one of the 3 boys. Which one's the sexy one?
If I
Dean's the sexy one for
absolutely
me.
had to pick one.
I would like to model my life after
See,
Dean.
I like Sam's long hair, but I like Dean's face better. You know
So
what?
you want Sam's hair on Dean's face?
Oh, no.
Does Castiel's coat come into it just for the sake of it?
No. Yes, just picture Dean with Sam hair with Castiel's coat and nothing underneath. Nothing underneath.
Whoa!
Then we've got it, boys and girls. We got it.
That's Natalie's
That's
dream
it.
Supernatural character.
Please do not Photoshop that. I don't want to see it. I do not want to see it.
Can he at least be in underwear? Your weird amalgamation of the 3 boys?
No.
Whose voice and attitude, they're asking you in our Twitch chat.
Whose voice and definitely Dean's.
See? Dean's the best!
Yeah, his quirkiness and his just, yeah.
She's seen some
personality.
episodes with me.
Oh yeah, I've seen it up to season 5, then I just lost.
The
Lost
best
it.
thing about Supernatural is when my dad hit me up. My dad's an ex-pastor. He's not ex as in like he quit. He moved and they didn't get a new church and he's older, so he's kind of retired. So it was more that way.
Yeah.
But my dad, the pastor, basically. I say ex, and that's not right at all because he's still a pastor. He still has full theology degree and everything.
Technically.
Yeah. But he called me up and he's like, so TBS has been doing like a binge thing of Supernatural. I think I'm on like season 5. Why is the devil talking to everyone? And I'm like, no, Dad, that's Lucifer. And he's trying to fight Michael. And he goes, Michael the Archangel? Where's God during all of this? Oh, Dad, that's the big mystery of Supernatural. We don't know. You got to get to like season 12 for that.
Oh, you're dead.
And he's like, oh, okay. So why are these guys fighting the devil? And he binge watched the whole thing. My dad watched the entirety of Supernatural. It's funny.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I know he missed episodes here and there because he was watching the TBS marathon, but...
That's dedication right there. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up the whole Supernatural thing again. I'm sorry. Titans, yes.
No, it's
you were
fine. This is a
saying.
podcast. This,
Oh, I know,
this
I
isn't
know,
Natalie's quick 30... Quick, Natalie, 30 seconds. What did you think of Titans?
Well, it was I can't do that in 30 seconds. You're pressuring me right now. I can't.
20 seconds left.
Oh my God, no. I'm just gonna sit there in silence. No, it was
15 seconds left.
Stop! God, this is what.
Fastest time progression I've ever been a
Natalie,
part of.
10 seconds. What do you think of Titans?
It was dark and it was great.
All right, Dan.
This is my type of show, you know? There's just a dark kind of, not really over the top, but I was just expecting, when I think Titans, you know, I think, well, the only experience that I've had with Titans is the Teen Titans show. So it was very different from that.
Oh,
It was
yes.
very different. Yeah, I mean, I loved every minute of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously, are we allowed to talk about scenes at all, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, so part of the reason I don't want this to be the hour of the shows
Yes.
is so that we are free to discuss spoilers.
Yeah.
Yes.
By being a week away from when all the shows aired, you should have watched the show or maybe not watch our podcast. It's kind of the attitude I'm having towards this podcast. And if you guys disagree with us, let me know in the comments down below or in the Twitch chat or over on Patreon can you make it spoiler free? I don't think that's the best option with how late we're discussing the episodes.
I mean, we can give you a spoiler-free version of the video where we start the video and then we end the video. And we say thanks for watching.
It was good, cut.
Please subscribe. So, I mean, like I said, so as of right now, we're just going to treat it as a spoiler cast kind of thing. And that's part of the reason why I didn't want it to be so. Because we did discuss at one point, Dan, the possibility of us watching the shows and then immediately after filming our reactions and posting them somewhere. And I didn't like that idea.
I also feel like we're incapable because we always get really hyped about certain scenes and stuff. And we're like, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's hard to talk about a show when you can't talk about moments that you want to talk about.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so Natalie, using that as a basis, you're free.
Yeah. So, well, obviously, my favorite character is definitely Raven because, you know, I love horror movies and just that.
Did you wear that shirt intentionally?
No, why?
Because that's Kat, based in the game Gravity Rush,
Gravity
who
Rush,
features a
yeah.
character named Raven.
I totally
Don't
planned
go
that.
on your conspiracy
I
string
planned that.
theories.
I planned this. I planned this. Yes. Just go with it. Makes me look good. Yeah,
Man, that choreography with picking out your clothing to what we're doing.
absolutely.
That's why Dan wore blue. He likes Nightwing.
It's funny, I wear this because it's actually the same color as a robin egg and the show has robin in it.
Wait, is that really the color of a robin egg?
It's some sort of turquoise, I think.
How do you know this?
I don't know, it's because it's a candy.
Okay.
So Natalie,
Go with it.
Natalie, what did you think about Titans?
I don't know who to start with, like either Raven or Robin, because they were both as equally as good to me. So Raven, obviously, you know, like the second scene where she gets kidnapped, you know, and Robin saves her. When Raven takes over, that was the best scene to me anyway for that episode. That
When you
specific
finally
episode.
see...
Yes. I was just like, holy crap. They went there, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just
Like a darker idea,
yes,
darker.
I love that because, you know, I love Gotham, and Gotham is very dark as well.
Yeah.
This is a lot darker, which I
She will be
absolutely
talking
love.
about Gotham on the show, guys. Don't worry.
Yes, and well, when it comes to Robin, you know, a lot of people were freaking out because Robin said "F Batman," you know, at one point. And
Which,
it
can I
didn't
comment on
have-
that real quick?
Sure.
Perfect context for
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally, as soon as I heard it, I hit him up and I was like, they put it in the best possible way that made so much sense and had the best delivery.
Yes.
Oh.
100%, yeah.
No,
So
and
good.
it was funny because I was the one that as soon as everyone, can you believe he said F Batman? And I love the way everyone's
Yeah.
like freaking out about it. And I was like,
Yeah.
guys, I have a very strong feeling it's 100% out of context. It makes sense for the show.
Yeah.
And 3, they did it so you would do exactly what you're doing, which is everyone starts talking about Titans going, can you believe what they said? That was the entire reason it was in that trailer. It's probably the entire reason the scene is even in the show so they could put it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my second favorite scene when he just calms down and just wrecks everyone. And also, I could relate to that scene. Don't think that, you know, I'm going out like, you know, fighting
Are you a
crime at night.
vigilante?
No, don't. I
She's
wish.
got natterangs.
I wish that would be so cool, but I could relate to this. Just stay with me on that one.
Okay.
Because back in the day when I was streaming by myself on EM, right, I would always get people to go like, "Where's Benny? Where's Benny?" And when Robin, you know, just came down, everyone was just like, "Where's Batman?" Well, I'm the only one we've got right now, so just pay attention to me, you know.
Right.
And then when he said F Batman, I was like, yeah, I can relate to that. F
You were
Benny.
like, fuck Benny?
F Benny. I can relate to that.
That's we get one per episode. I just said
Yeah.
it.
Just one.
That's the
We're
one.
still PG-13, don't worry, guys.
Yeah, you know, like he's just sitting there trying to defend the city, and Batman is not there, obviously. So stop going like, where's Batman? Like, this is the guy that you're facing right now. He's about to kick your ass, so maybe you should just focus on him instead of just asking where Batman is.
Right.
You know, but yeah, so.
I loved how they didn't hold back on the
Oh, no,
fighting
yeah.
too.
No.
Like
That was
grinding
incredible.
his face on the wall.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And on
Okay,
the
so
glass
the
too.
fighting.
Oh my God.
So what a lot of people don't realize is a couple of things, and I'll say this real quick because we're talking about these scenes and how dark they are.
Yes.
One, the Teen Titans show that everyone likes to. That's the Titans from 2006. That's not the Titans. That's that version of the Titans. The Titans is actually very dark, very moody.
Is it?
Raven originally was like so emo, no one liked her, kind of a situation when she came out.
It's funny
basically
because
like out of the show.
As soon as because we pretty much started the show with Raven being shown, and Ben was just like, she's gonna be your favorite. I know it. I know it. I
But
was
like she's
why,
super
man?
moody. She's always upset
Yeah.
about everything because her father's Trigon and he's trying to take over the world. This is also during the period where Dick Grayson they were trying to break Dick Grayson away from the quippy Robin, and so he was moving in his transitional period towards Nightwing, which I will say did not lead to him like rubbing people's faces on the walls. But he wasn't exactly Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky Nightwing at the time.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't the Dick Grayson we all know and love today and what he was back in the day. So I think they took him a little too far in that direction. I mean, with breaking bones and everything like that, but it does fall in line with what DC very obviously wants the Bat family to become with their new portrayal. They want the Bat family to be the dark, the edgy, the vigilantes.
I think it very much worked with the theme of what they're going for with the show.
Yeah, it did work with that.
Like in terms of the show itself, I felt like if he had any sort of happiness to him, it would not have worked with the way that it's been progressing so far. I feel like when Beast Boy gets in the picture a little bit more, we might see Dick Grayson lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think at the moment he is in that F Batman kind of mood of just, no, like this is how I'm gonna do it. Like
He's trying to step out of the shadow of his mentor.
exactly.
And for the record,
Batman doesn't hold back.
right, and Batman doesn't hold back, and we also don't know what the argument between them was. Like why he left. I forget the original reason why he left.
I knew you were gonna hit that.
But I forget the original reason why he left, but it wasn't on the greatest of terms. It wasn't like, well, chum, you enjoy wherever you're going. You know, it wasn't like that.
Well, he wouldn't have said F Batman.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and we
must
don't
have
know what the
been.
context is at the moment. And the fact that F Batman works in context, we don't know why he's being moody. I will say right now, the big thing I dislike about the show, there's two big things. I'm not going to fully judge Starfire until we see what the actual plot is.
That's
thought
what
she was
I've been
cool.
thinking as well, because like I felt like the way that they used her, I feel like it's a very, because of the realistic nature, like I know it's not real in terms because it's superheroes and stuff, but you can tell that they're trying to put it in a way that this could fit into real life.
Yeah.
And I feel like Starfire is the hardest to do that with because she's an orange alien from out of space.
Yeah.
And I think so far they're doing a decent job, because a lot of people I've been seeing, they're like, oh, well, why did they dress her up like a prostitute and stuff like that? And it's like, well, a lot of people are forgetting that Starfire, she's a very sexual character in the comics.
She's a very sexual character
very,
everywhere
like, she's
except Teen
naked a
Titans
lot
and
of
Teen
times.
Titans Go.
Exactly. And that's the only
In Teen
place that
Titans
people
Go,
know.
she's so clueless. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And
mean,
she
I-
just speaks in like a weird manner as well. Like, you know, she's
Yeah.
it's funny to me.
The I mean, as a matter of fact, one of the New 52 runs with her, and she got a lot of flack for this, was that she was half naked and sleeping with both Jason and Roy at the same
Yeah,
time.
he told me that during the show.
Yeah,
I
like
was
that's
oh.
her character. So her being dressed as a prostitute makes sense. Now this whole amnesia thing, I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't know
couldn't
about that.
tell what they were going for with that, because part of me was wondering like if somehow Starfire's mind got put in this person's body.
That's what I thought too at first.
Like I was kind of
Yes.
confused about that because of the character progression or development for her character that clearly existed prior to her losing her memories. Kind of made why was she here? What is going on?
Our Twitch chat is filling me in that apparently in this universe, Batman is a killer and wanted to get away from that. And I
no,
think
what?
I think that may have been implied through one of the news articles and stuff like that.
I don't.
I mean,
I didn't
news
get
article.
any vibe off that.
we're probably going to see eventually the flashback.
Yes.
Where they
Probably.
talk and the actual full-blown reason is out there, whether it be Batman's a killer, whether he feels Batman's too brutal. We'll find out more in that discussion probably. We're gonna find out what's going on overall. But back to the Starfire situation. I didn't mind her, but I didn't like her in her current state and what we got in episode 1.
I like the way they did her powers.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie
It looked
likes it.
incredible.
And like when
looked
she
incredible.
had the energy inside her, and like you looked at her and you went, "That's Starfire." The green eyes, like the glowing orange skin, like the
Yes.
immense like energy flowing off of her.
Yeah.
You're like, "That is Starfire."
And my
Oh,
favorite
okay, real
part-
quick, just to double down. Apparently, in the show, Dick said he dealt everything with his fists, meaning that maybe he just didn't like Batman, and that Batman does beat everybody up.
Yeah.
And apparently, the Robin's actor said that Batman's a killer in this universe. Charlie got it on Emergency Awesome. So it's like it's a source from a source thing. So we'll have to see how it plays out in the actual show, if it turns out that's the case.
I hope they don't do that because that could create a lot of.
Original Batman had a gun running around. I'm not against Batman becoming a killer. The question is he full-blown I mass murder? Or is it just like, okay, Joker, you've gotten up 3 times in a row. I'm tired of this. You're dead. You know what I mean? But like,
About time.
Depends on what kind of killer we're talking about with the Batman character. He can go in any
Yeah.
direction with this.
Like, is he killing people or is he injuring people to the point that they simply don't recover?
Is it like Batman v Superman version where it's like, I didn't kill you, but maybe you shouldn't have had napalm on your back.
It's the cosmic Ghost Rider of it's not okay to kill someone, but you don't always have to let them live.
Exactly, and maybe that's this world's Batman. We'll find out more when they actually reveal it, but we don't have the official word on that. And like I said, this is all I'm getting from the Twitch chat and what they're saying from the interview that Charlie took all the information from. So it could be anything. But with the Starfire character, I don't know what to think about it right now.
I think they've given enough to show that there's potential, but they haven't given enough to show that they're doing it perfectly right.
Yes. I agree with
think-
that because it falls in line with the classic. I now, as far as the skin tone thing, being a black person instead of being an orange person, I think part of that's budget.
I think
I was
it's
thinking about
budget,
that-
and it's also like it's so hard to fit into that was what I was saying earlier with like the realism thing, where it's like you have an orange person walking.
I don't think that's a problem at all. I don't think that's the big issue.
Because I also don't think it's a budget. They've got Gar. He's green.
Right, but he's not green at normal. His
Yeah.
hair's green.
He was slightly green.
No, it's just like a hue.
I mean, he was in the forest, so it's hard to tell.
So what I think the reason why they're not doing the skin tones, because you'd have to do Gar and you'd have to do Starfire, make them orange and green. I think, and this is just 100% theorizing. I think the reason is, you think about the amount of money that's got to go into Starfire's powers and Gar's ability. Now also think of
Raven.
reshoots and how difficult they would be if you always have to do a 9-hour makeup process.
Actually, that actually brings up a good point because she mentioned Raven as well, that the colors could very easily be used as just the powers activating kind of signal of, she's going orange, therefore she's going to start creating fire, doing her thing. Gar's starting to turn more green. He's clearly about to go Animorph.
Yeah, so our Twitch chat is
the
saying
only
that-
one that thought that when
No,
he
yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the cover of Animorphs.
The Twitch chat is saying that he goes green when he's changing. He's
Yeah.
I think he's white. Maybe he's
Yeah.
Asian? I don't know. I've only seen like the couple screens.
They only showed the small bit of
Yeah, he hasn't fully been in it yet, so
which
I don't know who he
I
is.
thought was like the perfect amount for him to
Yeah.
kind of
You're
solidify
like, oh,
his
he's
character.
here.
He's there. He's turning into a lion just to steal games. You're like that. If you know Beast Boy,
Beast
you're
Boy,
like
yeah.
that's.
He's
Beast
going to be
Boy.
the comic relief.
He is.
Oh yeah.
What did you think? What did you think about Beast Boy? Because I know you
Yeah.
were.
Well, see, I liked the only thing that seemed off to me was when he was going from Tiger to Beast Boy. I mean, to himself pretty much. And the whole like CGI just seemed off to me. Just like that transformation going from the tiger to himself is just, I don't know.
I feel like that's going to be a hard one for them to do because going human to any other animal could.
It's going to look weird.
I think
They're going to do the
best-
classic. He's in the shadows and you see the shadow of him changing, or he goes behind a building and then he comes out and he's an animal.
I think
or-
the best
'cause-
transformation I've seen between a wolf and an actual human person was Hemlock Grove, I think it was. It was a really incredible transformation, and it looked like what it would look like if you just saw someone transforming from a wolf to a human. But in this specific show, I don't know, I just didn't like it.
No.
No.
Well, and like I said, I think a lot of what we're seeing issues with the budget, and I also am thinking reshoots because we always hear horror stories of like, well, Jennifer Lawrence didn't want to be Mystique again because it takes 12 hours to put the makeup on, or Paul Bentley he doesn't like doing Vision because it takes 12 hours to put the makeup on. If you're full green and full orange all the time, and they're like, hey, we have to reshoot the scene, the lighting was off, you got to get back in the makeup chair for the next 8 hours to be orange for the 30-second thing, or you can go...
Plus that does horrible things to your skin.
Right, and to do it as a full-time thing.
Yeah.
Even the characters in Supergirl, when they did Brainiac, whatever, the girl Brainiac, whichever one she was.
They did that?
They had a Brainiac girl in one of them. And she was in all blue. She was only there for like, I want to say like 3 or 4 episodes, and there were only very short scenes where she was that. I made fun of her because they kind of half-assed it. It was blue makeup.
Yeah.
But like her lips were still red, and like there was bits and pieces of her that they didn't bother trying to cover up in any way, shape, or form.
They're like,
already
crap,
just
we ran out.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
It wasn't even like a CG cover-up or anything, or like, let's give her like a
no.
mask. It looked weird.
Oh,
Indigo, that's what Tevius reminded. That was her name. They called her Indigo on the show. She was a version of Brainiac, is what it came down to.
Why?
Speaking of Brainiac real quick, and you and I are going to have to watch Krypton to catch up on that.
Yes.
But the Brainiac and Krypton looked amazing. But anyway. So overall...
I wanted to say something about Starfire though.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When she finally uses her powers and then she looks at the burn guy and she just chuckles. That was my favorite part.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
super...
I don't know why, but it was like, holy crap, she just does not give a crap.
She doesn't at
I
all.
totally, there was part of me that was like,
Yeah.
she burned that guy alive, but the picture's perfectly
Yes.
fine.
No, well, half of it was.
it
She
wasn't
can
even
control
half.
it. She can control it.
Yeah, preaching.
Could she though?
Yes, she can control it. Kind of, maybe.
It literally ignited the entire room.
Except the picture.
Yes.
Whew, don't get this though. It's okay. One thing that I thought of the show just as a whole, I thought the pacing was fantastic.
Yeah.
That every time they reached a point with individual characters where you're like, okay, we're gonna get a lull. Nope, swap to a different character. And it just kept it going to the point that you're like, I never had a down moment.
Yeah.
In fact, it was one of those shows where you don't even realize that it's 50 minutes long.
No,
Because
exactly.
it just goes by so quickly and like, oh my gosh.
Overall, I enjoyed it. I have a lot of hope for where it's going. That doesn't mean that the whole season, that's the whole point of our podcast. We can talk about these episodes as they come out.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of hope for it, though. I do. In the end, after Gotham Season 1, I liked Gotham Season 2 onward. I just never got a chance to catch up on it. I know, you loved it.
Joker, man.
Jerome, let's get it right.
Sorry, Jerome. God. Actor.
And for me, with this dark-toned DC, I feel like if they do it with the right characters, it's fine. Raven, Starfire from her original incarnation. If Beast Boy can bring the humor back and Nightwing kind of lightens up as we're going, I think we've hit a nice middle ground.
Yeah.
If we stay with everyone is depressed, I don't know about that.
I think Beast Boy and Dick Grayson's partner are going to be what start bringing Dick Grayson into the light more and turn him more into the Nightwing that we know. And
Okay.
I think that's going to be how they finish season 1, by the way.
Him putting on Nightwing?
He will become Nightwing.
That would be awesome.
They're going to have the catalyst that makes him become Nightwing, which I don't remember the reason for.
By the way, I know it has nothing to do with anything you guys are talking about, but can we just talk about the actor that plays Robin right now?
He looks just like what I would expect Dick Grayson
He
to
looks
look like.
amazing. Amazing. Oh my God. Can you imagine him in the Nightwing suit?
The good Nightwing suit. Not
The blue one?
No, not the frilly 70s.
The 80s Nightwing
80s,
suit.
yeah.
I want the blue with the red. I want the blue, but if we get the red, I'll take that. I don't want the 80s frill.
Right.
It'd be funny, though.
They'll do the classic. He'll try it on and go, nah, and then put on the proper one.
I do want to say real quick before we move on with this, though, I actually, thinking about it, I liked the choreography for the fight.
Yes.
I actually really liked
That-
the way
that
they did that.
baton thing.
The baton where he put it out. Tunk.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I really liked it. I thought the camera work for that actually worked. I knew what was going on. At no point did it go super shaky. And I was like, well, he's beating people up.
Yeah.
Or at no point did they go, okay, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And when I say that, I'm putting this in the tense of superhero shows.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean,
worth it.
dragging someone's face in the wall may not have dragged, like, full blood
No, but the
smear,
one on the glass though definitely
Yeah,
would
like
have.
the glass, but like
yeah.
even like when he like shot his grappling hooks or whatever into the trash cans and pulled them in.
Yes.
None of it was like, well, that angle wouldn't work. No one would be able to do that. You're like, you know, I could see this kind of happening.
And the Starfire fight was awesome too, where she's fighting with the guy with the gun.
Yeah.
And they're grabbing the knife and everything like that. I felt like if they can keep that, like the choreography that level,
Yes.
you've got me, like, even if I disagree with what you end up doing the whole season with Nightwing and all them, you're going to get me to watch the show.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to want to see these kinds of fights going on.
Yeah.
Like, seeing those two sequences, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Raven and Beast Boy in a real fight. Not her slamming a guy in a wall and not Beast Boy running, but how are they going to do them in the fight?
I will, quick, because I didn't actually say anything or too much about Raven. I love the astral projection kind of theme that they're going for, where it's like a shadowy demon, and like when she has her powers, you like see the hands grip out, and like it really shows that her powers are activating, and that it's not just she touches someone, I can feel your feelings. Like it's no, you can see that happen, and like.
What I love about this too is that it kind of feels like Venom, kind of, because she's just
Yeah.
talking. You know what I'm saying? Like every time she just looks at herself in the mirror, it's just like, hey, just kill this guy, or I'm gonna take care of him. You know, it's just like she hasn't fully embraced it yet, but I feel like when she does, it's gonna be great.
I'm actually curious what they're going to do with that. Because in the comics, there is the powers coming out, but that is who she is.
Oh.
It's not something inside of her. She is Raven.
Okay.
And that's why they even implied that by saying you're adopted and things like that. So she is Raven, but I don't remember her talking to herself like that. Now, that could be the powers manifesting, and she becomes Raven as they're going.
She has slightly before.
I know you're a bigger Raven fan than I am.
Yeah,
so.
she doesn't so much talk to her, but it definitely does come out and talk through her, and then she's like, that wasn't me. Like, what the hell is going on? Not to the extent they're doing it in the show, but I think they are going to kind of go in the direction that you're saying, where right now she's just discovering that there is like a separate entity inside of her.
Yeah.
And then I think that she will reach the point where she kind of comes to terms in a way, slightly controls it, but still has the moments like in the comics and stuff where it will take over and she becomes, you see the Trigon in her.
Right, okay. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Like I said, so overall opinions on the show, because I felt like this podcast would be great if we end our discussion on everyone with skip it this week or watch it this week.
Watch it.
In my opinion, I say watch it. Yeah. I mean,
100%.
regardless of what your opinions on where it's going to end up, this first episode at least got me interested in the series.
Even if you don't like the character, if you're not a fan of like Teen Titans, don't worry, that doesn't relate at all.
No, and it's not Teen Titans Go in any way, shape, or form.
Really? I did not know that.
But the whole time I was just wondering, where's Cyborg?
I looked into that because I know he's in Doom Patrol, which is the next show to come out. But apparently he's going to be introduced in Titans, and he's going to help Doom Patrol. He's not actually on Doom Patrol, so that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think it was a fantastic show.
And once again, I think it's probably a budget reason. If they make him look good, if he shows up in a hoodie and just a glowing eye, well, we got problems.
Hey, why though? It looked pretty cool when he did that.
We'll see.
In my opinion,
We'll
anyway.
see.
Sorry.
Someone I knew was actually talking about how that was a potential another reason that Starfire's black, for the diversity aspect with Cyborg not being in the show.
So yeah, I would.
And considering the nature of kind of politics and shows and stuff, I was like, I mean, I doubt that's the only reason.
I don't like to look at,
at.
and Gary and I will talk about this a little bit in the Doctor Who thing because it's tons of politics on that one. I don't like to look at these shows like they're making a diversity movement, they're making a political movement,
but sadly, that's just kind of.
I actually liked the actress's acting for Starfire.
Oh, yeah.
I did. Yeah. And I'd like to think that she got it on the merit of her acting. I don't like to look at it as, oh, well, she's the one black actress in the show. I don't like to think of it that way. I mean,
I'm not saying it in that way at all because she did a great job.
It wasn't a bad job. It wasn't a bad job at all.
Yeah, but I mean, that was just something that they said that I was like, that's an interesting way to look at it.
I'll actually, this is a great way to segue into this because Gary and I are going to watch Supergirl, and neither of us have watched it yet.
Okay.
So we did have a concern with Supergirl because at Comic-Con they announced that the transgender actress was going to be on it.
Yes.
And we both looked into her like, well, who is this actress? And from what we could see, she's only been in like one or two other things. So we were both concerned, like, I really hope that she can act And that's why she was hired, for the double down of she is transgender and she can act.
Yes.
And not only because they wanted a transgender actress.
It's the actor who happens to be transgender as opposed to getting the transgendered person who is an actor.
Right, and I will say, while I still haven't seen the episode because we're waiting for it to drop on the platforms that we can watch on, I did watch the clip where she's introduced into the show, and she did a great job.
Really?
She really did. The clip is 1:30 long. The whole thing is she walks into the elevator, she runs into Kara, and they have like a nice back and forth for a whole minute and a half, and it's supposed to be that she's basically Kara when Kara started at Cat Grant's organization.
Oh.
So it's like Kara can see her in herself, but
Interesting.
but it's mostly this actress. I forget her name, and I feel really rude for forgetting her name, but because we're not talking about Supergirl today, so I don't look up names and things like that.
Yeah.
But she did a great job. I was like, oh, like I have no worries at the moment. Like this is fine. They did that clip, and it's mostly her talking to Kara, and Kara just kind of being like, who are you?
Right.
Like, why are you talking to me? And she's like, oh, I'm looking for Kara Danvers, and I'm going to be her assistant. She's like, hi, and it's like, oh, this is great. It actually, I like the way they played off each other. It actually played out really well. So
That'll be interesting to see.
So I don't like to look at these movements as like, it's purely for diversity.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't either. But I mean, sadly,
I know.
It
It is a factor in this day and age, and a lot of people are looking for it. And a lot of shows, like what I've seen with the arguments with Doctor Who, they're not looking at the context of the show. They're looking at, oh, we have a female doctor. Well, that has to be diversity.
And it's just sad because there are shows that do that for the sake of diversity, which makes it hard for people.
It does, yeah. So far,
just...
I have yet to see one of the ones this season that I feel like it's being shoved down my throat. And we'll talk more about that in Doctor Who because the second episode I thought was incredible. But
yeah, because we've talked about Titans for like a full episode length.
Almost. So give us 5 minutes of Disenchanted, since we're going to talk about that.
Disenchantment. Oh my god.
Disenchanting.
So medieval Rama, as I have dubbed it, because what it is. I really liked it. I know it has been out on Netflix for a while now. I just, since this was early on in our show, I thought it would be fun if we talked about it just a little bit. And I like it. I felt like the entirety of what we've seen so far has nothing to do with plot. It's all been just, these are your characters.
Yeah.
Like, only, because at the very end, like, everything changes so drastically. You're like, but, huh?
It is an incredible cliffhanger.
Oh,
that is
yes.
for sure. Yes.
Definitely. I am very excited for when more of it comes out because I think that's when we're really going to see whether or not this is going to be them going, hey, so Futurama got taken off. We need to use some of our jokes again.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be an actual, like, this is a really cool show. I'm hoping for the latter.
I mean, the jokes were amazing. I thought throughout each and every episodes they were incredible. It's not Futurama, obviously, but it's still good, you know?
Yeah.
It's still something that people should watch for sure.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that would be on the watch list.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
there's not too much to say about that one because, like I said, like the plot doesn't have. I mean, it's a good story, but it's also like like, did something happen? But it is worth watching.
Yes,
I wanted to throw that in, but because of how long we talked about Titans, I know that we have a lot to talk
Titans
about.
was so-
You're fine.
Doctor
Go ahead.
Who.
I was told to look at Grant Gustin's Instagram real fast. So let's see what he...
You mean Dan's Instagram? No. Oh man.
Anyway, well, since that's all I really had to say about Disenchantment, I'm going to hand over...
That's worth mentioning. He's just a shot of him on the set.
What?
With the actor who plays Superman on the Supergirl show in a fully black Superman outfit.
With Arrow as well.
With Arrow as well, yeah.
That's my kind
And
of
we already know that
Superman.
the crossover's Batwoman, so what is that?
That's going to be cool.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show here. Now we're moving over to a different portion. Gary and I watched Flash, and we watched Doctor Who. So, since we know they want to see our opinions on Flash, let's talk Doctor Who. That's how you get them to stay for the entire episode. So the chat brought up something. Since we are kind of talking about last week's show, is we can't really give that many spoilers to Doctor Who.
Right.
Because of the day of airing this, we are currently in a time zone for the UK, and it's the day after the second episode. So we probably shouldn't spoil it on the day. We can talk briefly about it, but I wouldn't give away spoilers.
That's a bummer.
I know.
Okay.
What do you want to do? Do you want to just say, hey, that's the one show we're spoiling every week, like true spoiling? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
That's tough.
It is.
No, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Okay.
Who's like already
so
listening
every week
and-
we'll just talk briefly about it, a spoiler-free territory.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about episode 1 then. The new Doctor.
Yes.
Right off the bat, I like that we picked up where we left off. They normally do, but I always have that fear that we're going to start up a new show, a new actress, a new
Yes.
cast, and it's going to jump like 6 months later, and we're going to fill you in what happened.
Right. Well, the thing is, with every new Doctor I've experienced with this show, that people don't like the new Doctor most of the time.
No, they never do for the
At
first.
first,
Yeah,
at first.
It's always going to
They
get huge
never
backlash.
do. It's always, they're too old, they're too young, they're too this, they're too that, they're not this actor that we've been
They're
used
not
to
David
for-
Tennant.
They're not David Tennant. They're not, even like when Christopher Eccleston, when the Ninth Doctor regenerated into the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, who's technically the 11th, whatever.
Are you counting Ward
yes,
Hunter?
Yeah, I am, sort of. I didn't like him at first.
No.
I actually started watching Doctor Who for David Tennant, and then I told myself, no, I should really start at season 1 of New Who.
I did the exact same thing.
Yes. And then I started it, and I got through the whole season, and I thought, oh, this Doctor's amazing. And he regenerates into David Tennant, and I thought I would like it, and I was like, I don't like this. I want Christopher Eccleston back. I refused to watch the show.
Really? Because I started with David Tennant.
Right.
I got like a season in, and I'm like, oh, there's a season before that? So I watched the Chris Eccleston
Yes.
run. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Really?
Yeah,
loved
I
it.
liked
thought-
David Tennant's
I thought
run.
it was. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then David Tennant, of course, grew on me, and like.
I think it grew on everyone. David
Yes,
Tennant's
he
the
did.
best.
Well, he's the people's doctor.
He's the best Doctor ever.
Every poll that I've ever seen, rating who the best Doctor is, David Tennant's always top.
Okay.
It's like David Tennant, Matt Smith, and then Tom Baker.
Yeah.
Eccleston's almost never on that list.
No.
Or not. He's on it.
It doesn't help that he's only had a
like,
season.
right. It doesn't help that. Well, and he left for like artistic differences.
I
BBC.
now this is just rumor mills.
Yeah.
I heard that he left because he didn't want to be like he's the Doctor. The show was basically growing popularity. He was worried he was going to be basically typecasting.
Then don't take the role of Doctor.
Why
Don't
did you
take
take
the
it to
role of
begin
the
with?
Doctor.
Yeah.
I know that Benedict Cumberbatch was offered the role of the Doctor as well, and he had the same reasoning. He said, "I don't want my face on lunchboxes," but now he's Doctor Strange,
He's Doctor Strange
And-
and he's Sherlock.
and he's going to be the voice of Grinch.
Yeah.
and he's
Well,
Smaug the Dragon.
I feel
and
like
he's like yeah.
part of the Benedict Cumberbatch is the best example of this.
Okay.
I feel like when he started, because didn't he start with like actual plays and things like that?
Yes,
and
he was a stage actor.
He had more of a I want an artistic approach kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah,
Then he
absolutely.
started to get checks, and he was like, oh, I can buy food.
Right. And honestly, getting those checks leaves hopefully more time and more freedom to do the art.
To do what you want to do.
Right.
A lot of people, just to use our channel here as an example, they wonder why we try to hit every 10 pole and we try to cover down a lot of things.
Right.
One's because I love it, but the second reason is by doing the things I know are going to get views, I get to have more fun and do things like this.
Exactly.
I get to do
Exactly.
a Twitch set where we're doing a podcast. I can go do photography on my own time.
Right. There's more flexibility there.
I get to go do my own passions.
Right.
So
Exactly. And so, but yeah, back to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
A lot of people were nervous. I was nervous going into the first episode with Jodie Whittaker. Yes,
Whittaker. I always want to say Whittaker.
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 So Jodie Whittaker, not because she's a woman, because they've been building up to that for a really long time.
They have.
They've been.
I want to mention one thing. I told you
Yes,
this.
yeah.
It's actually not the first time the Doctor has regenerated into a woman. There's a 1990s movie that's out of continuity in which he regenerated into a woman.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they've implied that Time Lords can regenerate into women.
Missy's a great example.
Yes, Missy's a great example. Other Time Lords did, and I know a lot of that was just them building up, because those are very recent seasons. That was them building up to Jodie Whittaker, because I guess she, in an interview, said that her taking on the role of the Doctor was like the hardest secret she's ever kept. She couldn't tell anybody.
Oh, you could tell that they've been wanting to move in this
She's
direction.
known for a long time.
Yeah.
But on top of that, when Eccleston, right before he regenerated into David Tennant, into the 10th Doctor, he said, like, I could have two heads, I could have none, like I could regenerate into anything, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so the potential has always been there. So that didn't bother me so much. I was afraid that it was purely a politically motivated choice.
I think a lot of people were afraid of that.
Yes, and maybe it is. Maybe it is. but you can't tell from the first episode.
No, you can't, and without spoiling it, you
Right.
can't tell from the second either.
Yeah, no, you can't.
So the first episode for me, when that aired, I was a little worried about the same thing. I was worried that Jodie was going to drop down and be like, wow, I'm a woman. This is so much better than being a man, or
Right,
something along those lines, and you'd immediately
just
be
a real
like,
dig at like being a dude.
she's just taking a bunch of digs at men and stuff like that. I was like, oh, great, this is going to go well. No, none of that happened.
None of it.
I felt she did it. I felt she did a great job. I have seen backlash to the accent she's using, and you and I talked about that.
Yes.
And I think the reason we don't care
Yes.
is we don't know what she sounds like normally.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Well,
I thought that was her
so
accent.
the issue is David Tennant didn't use his natural accent either.
Right.
I mean, the man is Scottish, for those of you who don't know. Very thick
yeah.
Scottish accent. And almost everything he's ever done, he's had a British accent.
Yeah.
Or American, or whatever. Same with Benedict Cumberbatch. Like, the guy's English, but how many American roles has he played now?
Yep.
And so, no, the accent doesn't bother me at all.
No, it doesn't. And like I said, that may be because we don't know what she normally sounds like. She does. Is she British?
I believe
I don't even.
so.
I honestly don't even know what she was in before this. I don't recognize the actress or anything like that. So
I know, I think she was in Broadchurch with David Tennant.
yeah.
And so a lot of the mannerisms that she expresses in the show are very David Tennant-ish.
And
It's
I
kind
think
of
for
like-
me, that's one reason why I like her.
Yes, I do
Yeah.
too. There's more joy in what she's doing. Like, David Tennant had this like wide-eyed, kind of slack-jawed, childish wonder all the time. Like, oh, this is all so amazing. And she has that.
Yeah.
And she has this drive to put right what's wrong. And that's actually been lacking even since like Matt Smith and
Well, Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi, I wasn't a huge fan of Matt Smith's overall run because, and as we learned with the War Doctor,
Right.
it was all about like, how far can I bring myself down? I destroyed everything. I'm depressed because of it.
Yep.
I'm showing joy, but I'm not. While David Tennant
right.
felt like he enjoyed what he was doing.
Yes.
His version of the Doctor, I should say, not
Yes.
the actor, but
Well, and not all of Matt Smith's run, but you generally got this feeling that Matt Smith's Doctor was fixing things that were wrong because it affected him half the time. Not because he was actually out there looking to fix things.
Yeah.
This Doctor actually made a point, and this isn't a spoiler, but in the most recent episode, in episode 2 of season 11, she actually made a point to try to fix what was wrong simply because she could. Like, there's something wrong here, I want to fix it. End of story.
Right.
Whereas Matt Smith, and I feel like Capaldi as well, were more like, well, it's affecting me, and I guess it's kind of in my way, so I should fix it. But David Tennant was much more like the hero. Let's rush in, let's fix it because we can, because we're here.
Yeah.
Whereas it was more just, well, this is an inconvenience. I guess we should do something about it.
real
kinda
quick,
my
the
take
chat's
on it,
correcting
yeah.
me saying that he did not change into a woman back in the 1990 movie. If you Google search first time Doctor Who turned into a woman, all you get is Jodie now. You don't get anything else.
I think Houston actually said there was a radio program. Maybe
For the record, I don't have it in front of me. I know I saw it, and maybe it had been a parody thing, or maybe
Okay.
but it's out of continuity.
It's
where
out of
it ha-
continuity, yes.
She's the first in continuity
Yes.
transformation.
There was even another movie.
I might have the movie wrong or something, but I know
Yeah.
it happened before because for those of you guys who don't know here on Comicstorian, when I started the channel, my goal was to be a pop culture channel, not just comic books, which is
Right.
where we've been going recently.
Right.
And one of the ways I initially decided to try and do that was going to be comic books and Doctor Who. And if you do a Google search, you can find it. Doctor Who Project's what I called it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of research on classic Doctor Who stuff that I'd never seen.
Right.
Because I watched all the current stuff.
Right.
So.
Like the American Doctor Who spinoff where the Doctor was actually named Doctor Who.
Yep, exactly.
That was
and things
weird.
And things like
Yeah.
that. So, like, I have a memory of seeing that this thing existed. I don't have information as to where it is or what it is. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking to get attacked with Brady. What the hell? Like, I'm not saying I'm 100% accurate in this. I did this
Yes.
research 6 years ago. So,
Right.
Anyway, I liked it. I do like the cinematography. I did like the
cinematography was
effects.
beautiful.
Predator in the first one. I'm sorry. What was his name?
Yeah, Tim Shaw. Yeah,
no, the Predator monster.
yeah, Tim Shaw.
Yeah, but what was the name of the monster?
Oh, the Stenza.
Stenza.
They were called the Stenza. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Stenza, I thought, while being Predator, I liked their spin on it.
It was
It Predator.
reminded me of like a mix between Predator and the Phantom Power Ranger.
Yes.
Does anybody remember the Phantom Ranger?
Yep.
It was like this weird mashup between the two of them. Because, yeah, I don't know. The armor looked like dirt bike.
Well,
like
a lot of the negative feedback I saw to the first episode
Yeah.
was, they just took Predator. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, do you guys not watch Doctor Who? A lot of monsters, especially like Monster
Yeah.
of the Week monsters, are just something from a movie.
Oh, they're generic. Oh,
Yeah.
they're totally generic. Yeah. like werewolves.
Yeah, I mean, like,
No one's ever done that before. Yeah,
I mean, maybe
no,
they should have
it's-
had a better monster for the first episode, but I felt the first episode wasn't really focused on that. It was focused on her trying to get her memories back, her
It
becoming
was.
Doctor Who.
It-
I liked the way they did the line, or she messed it up initially. Who are you?
Oh yes, it
Yeah.
is. And she couldn't remember.
She couldn't remember.
Oh, there it was, and now it's gone again.
I liked that. I did.
I do, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, every time the Doctor regenerates, the Doctor kind of loses who they are. Their own brain is catching up with itself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really know what's going on. But it's those instincts. It's that instinct to fix things. It's almost like you have temporary amnesia of like, who am I? And when David Tennant regenerated, I can't remember what they were, but it was. Christmas Invasion, they ask him like, who are you? And he just says, I don't know. Like, stop asking me. Like, I don't know who I am yet. But yeah, no, I thought it was a solid episode, and the purpose. Actually, this is the first, I believe, the first regeneration episode with the new Doctor where we don't see the TARDIS.
Yes.
And
Which I don't want to talk about because
Right.
because there's reasons
It'll be a
behind that.
spoiler,
We
right.
can't give spoiler
There's
territory.
a reason for that.
Yeah.
But it was also very smart that they wrote it in there because it allowed you to focus on the companions.
Yeah.
And it allowed you to focus on the new Doctor. It allowed you to focus on the humanity behind the characters instead of like, oh, I've regenerated. Now we're in space, and now there's aliens, and now there's, you know.
Instead of throwing everything
Right.
at you, because I do
Yeah.
think they did it smartly.
They did.
Because the
They
first
did.
female Doctor is going to draw in potentially a new audience.
Yes.
You're going to get your
Oh,
Doctor Who
absolutely,
fans who
sure.
are going to love it and going to hate it, and just like every other Doctor Who. But with the first female Doctor Who, you're going to draw in people who have never seen Doctor Who, who are like,
Yes.
well, I want to see what they're doing. I want to see what this
exactly. What's the big deal?
is. Right, and so
What's the
but
big
if you
deal?
had thrown everything in at episode 1, I feel like it would have been overwhelming. For
would
a
have been.
non-Doctor
Oh,
Who fan who
absolutely.
may have been interested, they'd be like,
Yep.
okay, whoa. You have a
They-
box that's bigger on the inside than the outside?
Yes,
What are you doing?
yes. Actually, it's smaller on the outside.
You know,
So,
yeah.
no, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. And what was I going to say? They actually even play on that in Eccleston's run, episode 2, when he takes Rose to see the Earth die.
Yeah.
And she's looking at all these monsters and these aliens and stuff, and she like freaks out and runs away. That's kind of how it is for people who are new to Doctor Who,
Yeah.
who've never seen it before. Like, what is even happening right now?
Yep.
And so to ease them in with human characters first, you focus on this family, this young man who can't ride a bike. I thought it was very smart.
Yeah.
But
I like we've without spoiling it, we've learned a little bit more about him in the second
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
And I'm really liking him.
oh, I really like.
yeah,
this
I'm
character.
liking his
Yes.
character a
He's
lot.
solid. He's,
yeah,
he's
we'll talk
very-
more about second episode next week.
He's a very smart character.
Let's talk about that briefly.
Yes.
Spoiler free.
Okay, spoiler-free.
Overall
We can do
opinions on the
spoiler-free.
second episode.
Felt like Doctor Who again.
I
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yes.
I was about 20 to 30 minutes into it, and I was like, I feel like I'm watching a Doctor Who episode. I feel like I'm watching the evolution of Doctor
Yes.
Who now. I
Yeah.
don't feel like I'm watching brand new, dark and moody. What is this? I feel like I'm watching Doctor Who again.
Yep.
And that's just, and we both agreed on
Yes.
that. Like, he showed up and
Yep.
he was like, "Did you watch the second episode?" And I was
Yes.
like, "Yeah, I did. I felt like I was watching Doctor Who."
Yes.
And he's like, "So did I."
Absolutely.
And we agreed 100% on that. So
Yes, and when this is not a spoiler, but when they do reveal, like they're on this planet and they reveal a fact about the TARDIS, and I'm not going to spoil what it is, I actually got like a semblance of chills because I finally got to see the TARDIS again. There was like some excitement there.
Yeah.
And it was an image of the TARDIS, and I'm not going to,
Yeah, don't spoil
But
it right now.
I'm not,
I mean, if you thought the
I'm not
TARDIS
at
was
all.
going forever, then I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, there's no Doctor Who without the TARDIS. So
it's kind of like Supernatural. It's
Right.
Dean, it's Sam,
Right.
and it's the car, the Charger.
okay,
you
yes,
know?
exactly.
But I was trying to remember the name of the car. I was going to call it a Corvette, and I'm like, it's not a Corvette.
Corvette.
If I say it,
Yeah.
I'm about to piss
Oh
off a lot.
no, yeah, Dean is dead. Is he?
No, but and for Doctor Who, for
Yeah,
me, it's always
exactly.
been Doctor Who, the TARDIS.
Yes.
It's always been those are the two
Doctor and the
characters.
TARDIS, yeah.
Doctor Who, the TARDIS, a companion.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, a companion, a few companions.
Depending on where you're
I
at.
like that they have that every season brings in a new kind of companion.
Yeah.
I really like the dynamic between these companions right now.
Yeah.
They're all kind of in like different stages in life.
I do like that a
they're-
lot.
yeah.
Yeah. We can't talk more about that without going into the second episode
Right.
where they're fully explored.
Yes.
Because we do get a lot more to a lot of those
Yes.
companion moments.
Well, and you get the different filters on what's happening.
The Impala. Damn it! I did get it wrong.
But yeah, with these different characters, you get different filters on what's happening. You get
Dan's,
different.
for the record, everyone, Dan's behind the camera, like trying to pretend beat me up. Forget
Yes, Dan.
For the record, I just want to know, I did look up a '69 Impala,
Okay.
and it's not cheap.
I can't imagine.
It's not cheap.
I'm sure since the success of Supernatural.
Yeah, baby. I know. I'm sorry. Everyone on a Twitch chat is giving me shit for getting the car wrong. I have no excuse.
It takes Benny like 15 seasons to remember facts about a show. It takes him a while. You gotta be patient.
It's not like this. It's not like, oh, I've watched 3 episodes. No, I've watched 14 seasons of this show.
It's like watching 10 seasons of Stargate and be like, who's that main character again? What is his name?
You're saying it's one of the main characters of the show, and I can't remember
I can't remember it.
I can't remember.
Oh, man. But, yeah. So I'm enjoying Doctor Who.
Yeah, no, I am too.
I really am enjoying it.
And you know what's a really good car? An Impala.
Yes. Yes. And, some people are obviously going to take the show and they're going to make, like, political commentary out of it. And I was just reading an article back there while we were recording about Doctor Who, just kind of getting some thoughts together. And someone mentioned that this episode, the latest episode, kind of addresses like toxic masculinity. I didn't think it did at all.
No, and here's what I think,
didn't.
and this is the problem I have with this.
At all.
And I'm a little worried that people are going to do it with the Supergirl situation,
Yeah.
because I did bring that up earlier in the episode today. If you go into any show,
Yes.
you can find what you're
Absolutely.
looking for.
Yes. Yeah, okay. For me to say that I've never disagreed with like a moral point that Doctor Who's ever made would be an absolute lie.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy the show.
And I feel like those people are looking for problems.
Yeah,
That
they're looking for problems,
it's about
yeah.
toxic masculinity.
Well, then just turn off your TV because
Yeah.
you're always going to find an issue. And
the only you saying that
Yes.
without going into it, there is one scene I can think of, and even that's just not even handled in a forced down your throat kind of a way.
right. Yes.
It's handled.
Is it the gun thing?
Huh?
The gun thing?
No, you're spoiling. You can't
just
spoil
saying the gun thing.
You can't spoil.
I'm not spoiling it.
You can't.
The point that I'm going to say about that is the Doctor has always been anti-guns.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, stop spoiling the episode.
I'm not spoiling it.
You're talking
I'm not
about the episode.
Okay, the episode was 52 minutes long, and the Doctor's in it, and the companions, and they're on a planet of some kind. There we go.
You spoiled that they're on a planet.
No, you spoiled that it's the Doctor.
How do we know it wasn't all? It could have been like that great episode of Supernatural that's all about from the Impala's point of view. There's a whole episode
really?
where it's just the dashboard cam, and it's what the Impala sees.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. I like
it
that
is.
idea. They should do a TARDIS episode like that.
See, Moby's right in our
With a TARDIS scene.
Twitch chat. They were in space before.
okay.
How do we know they got to a planet?
Anyway,
So, what did you think of Flash? Let's go to the
I was
Flash.
just going to say the Flash. Again, I actually really enjoyed
Gary
this.
will learn how to be on a show
Yes.
eventually, guys.
No. No, I'm too old for that.
If you want more of Benny and Gary, then you
Yeah.
can find us on the Benny and Gary Morning Show, which we're going to start filming next week right here on Twitch and
Yes.
putting up on my personal channel.
I really enjoyed this episode, the pilot episode of The Flash.
I am actually surprised with the
Really?
way season 4 went. I was pretty much.
I was almost
midway through season 4. I was only watching it not because it's my job, but because I am a Flash fan.
Me too.
And I feel like I had gotten to the point where I was watching it to find problems to complain about. I was the guy making the comment about toxic masculinity. I was
okay,
like,
okay.
that was shit writing. That was a problem there.
Right,
What
that
was
was-
that? What is that comment?
So I'm hopeful that this episode is setting the tone for the show.
Yes, I am
Because
too.
it was positive. It had a great family dynamic.
I
I
liked the awkwardness
Yes.
of Nora with Barry and Iris.
Yes.
I thought that was
And
great.
I actually really like that she's just kind of an awkward character.
Yes, I like the
She
awkwardness
doesn't
of
have
her.
her act together.
I like the awkwardness of she wants them to be mom and dad.
Yes.
But they're like,
We don't know you.
okay? Like,
Exactly. It would be like my daughter showing up in, or even a child I haven't had yet.
Right.
Showing up to my doorstep and saying, "Hey, Dad." I'm like, "Hi, stranger. Who are you?"
I loved that. I loved the idea. Because I always said I wanted that season where Barry was teaching Kid Flash, and I feel like we're going to get that season with Nora.
Unfortunately.
I do wish it was with Kid
Yes,
Flash originally.
I do too.
But I feel like we're going to finally get that with Nora, and I liked that dynamic.
Yes.
Him thinking back to the moment with Harrison Wells, teaching him his original stuff,
Right.
teaching him this is how you vibrate, and him thinking of that
Yes, this is how you
speech
phase.
and telling
Yeah.
her,
Yes.
and then coaching her through it. I loved that. I loved that sequence.
Well, I think they've brought up that sequence a few times in the show.
Yeah.
That's stuck with him.
yeah.
But yeah, I love that she's kind of awkward. You know, she doesn't have her act together. She's nervous. She accomplished this like unbelievable feat. You know,
Yeah.
she went back in time. She saved her dad. Whoa, what do I do now? Like, what's even happening? Like, how do I handle this? She's essentially created like another flashpoint for herself.
She has, and
know,
I do
and-
say I did get it right when I had theories. My theory was that she was going back in time to prevent the death of her own father,
Right.
which we discovered. I mean, we're talking about episode 1, guys, so
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
spoiling that one. And it's exactly what she did. I enjoyed that. I thought that was great.
Yes.
At first, I thought it was going to be like, great, we're just going to rehash season 1. But the way that they decided to play it out, she came back to prevent it from happening because he went missing for so long.
Yes.
And she's aware it's going to cause problems, but she's trying to fix it in some way. She wants it to be better.
Right.
I liked that. I did.
Yes, and I actually also really appreciate that she was willing to not go through with any of it if her dad said so.
Yeah.
And he actually was the one who said, no, I think we can help you fix this.
Yeah.
We can do something about this. I thought that was just really good. Like she wanted to fix things, but once she actually met her dad, got to talk to her dad, she respected him. And she was like, okay, Dad, whatever you say. And even though I don't really know you, like whatever you say goes. And I thought that was solid.
I do like the Easter egg. Back to they go Reds. You wouldn't know this one. You wouldn't know this Easter egg. It's a comic Easter egg.
Is it the ice cream shop?
No.
Oh, okay.
What's the ice cream shop Easter egg?
I guess the location of the ice cream shop is like a shout out to a location from Justice League and all that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know every Easter egg.
Okay, yeah.
But I like the Easter egg where they say Crisis in the Skies, Red Skies. That's
Okay.
referencing Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay.
Barry Allen was actually gone for 25 years, roundabout.
okay.
So
Okay.
when they say you've been gone for 25 years,
Oh, okay.
that's actually a shout out to the actual length of time the character of Barry Allen was missing.
Okay.
Because in comic books, he dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay.
He does vanish. Wally
Okay.
takes over as Flash. Barry doesn't come back until Flash Rebirth, and I want to say that was 2008, 2009 timeframe.
Okay.
And Crisis was around 84-ish. It's not exact, but it's about 25 years. So
Yep.
I did like that. I thought that was great to state. You were gone for the exact length of time you were in the comics. It was cool.
Great. Yeah. And let's recycle this scene from the comics.
Oh,
with the-
Happy Harbor.
Yes, Happy Harbor.
It's
yes,
from Young
yes,
Justice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What else
The suit.
stood out to you?
Seeing the original images of the suit, I thought this was going to be the worst suit ever.
Yes.
Seeing it come out of the ring, seeing him put it on,
Yes.
I loved it. I felt like the closest thing to Flash we've had.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I want your opinion on this because my opinion, I
Okay.
liked it because I liked the Flash comic book.
Okay.
How did you feel about it?
I thought it looked fine. It definitely looked like it was straight out of a comic book.
Okay.
The scene, like how the ring, flew, or the suit flew out of the ring, him putting it on, just all of it felt very comic booky, but it felt right for the scene. It felt right for the character. It also made sense that the suit itself was a little more thinner, more form-fitting. It didn't have all the bells and whistles of the other suit, but that's because it's cooped up in a ring the whole time.
Yeah.
Like it can't have all that stuff.
Yeah.
So and it makes.
I liked how
sense.
much brighter it was.
It was much brighter.
I never liked the dark red leather look he had.
No, I didn't
like
either.
the bright, because he's always been
Yes.
bright red. He's
Yes.
not been dark red.
Right, yeah. This like burgundy. Yeah. This burgundy color. I like the suit. I thought it was great.
It's because I really like your opinion on this because, and this is actually, I meant to mention this during the, we're talking about the Titans.
Okay.
And everyone's like, oh, I hate the Titans, and the people, I like the Titans. And what I'm finding is the people who don't try to hinder, and this is what I've always done with the movies, I try not to hinder my comic book knowledge on what has to happen.
Okay.
And I always find people who don't have a lot of comic book knowledge can enjoy the shows for what they are instead of sitting here going, well, that's not the right Dick Grayson. Well, that's
Yes.
not the right Barry Allen.
Right.
Because you can look at it and go, I enjoy the family dynamic. I don't know where this is from. I liked what they did.
Exactly. I've only ever known Wally West, Iris, all of them as they are in the show.
Yeah.
So it's not like ruined for me.
Exactly.
In
And
some
I
way.
like that perspective.
Yes.
I try to go in with that perspective, but at the same time, I've
can't- you
still
can't.
been reading
You
comics
can't.
since the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, it would be like somebody like rebooting Star Trek Next Generation for me, recasting everybody.
Right.
And then
on
all I
one
could
hand, you'd be
think-
like, I want to give it a fair shot.
Right.
On the other hand, you're going to be like, where's Picard?
where's Picard? That's not Picard. That's David Hasselhoff. So
Oh my God. Picture that recasting.
I don't want to. No, I thought it was a solid opening, and you're right. Season four, right, was the last
Yeah,
one.
4 was the last one.
Yeah, was
That was The Thinker.
The Thinker. So my wife and I finished that. She's a huge Flash series fan as well.
Okay.
She loves it. We finished that season because we could. Not because it was good.
Yeah.
We finished it because we just wanted to finish it, because we wanted to see where it went.
I finished it because at that time I wanted to start trying to loop the TV shows back in.
Yeah.
So I wanted to catch up on that. I wanted to catch up on Arrow. I wanted to catch up on Black Lightning. I wanted to catch up on all of them. So I finished Flash for that reason. But I had officially stopped watching around episode 14. So I had to binge watch to the finale to catch up.
Okay.
Because I was like, no, I do like these shows. I do want to talk about them.
Right.
Even if I'm complaining about them.
And has anybody else noticed the theme of bringing in Earth 2 Harrison Wells in like episode 2? He's never in the pilot episode for a season. Except season
Is he back?
1.
I don't know. I
Except
try not
season
to.
1. I don't know.
I try not to spoil the show
no
for
idea.
myself.
I don't
so
know
I
if
don't
he's
like.
coming
I don't
back.
like to look at spoilers. I don't like to look at trailers. I don't like to look at because
No,
I don't.
I'm just speaking from like.
I've never
previous
noticed
seasons.
that. Is he? He's got to be in this season.
Aside from, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
But aside from season 1,
He'll be the Earth 98 version. I don't know.
aside from season 1, Earth 2 Harrison Wells has only appeared. He's never appeared in the first episode.
Huh.
So yeah.
Never thought
Anyway,
of that.
yeah. But I like the new lounge.
I loved the excuse as to where Joe was the whole episode.
It's like I've been napping here for years.
I've been here since we found Star Labs. Like,
Yes.
damn, you all found my spot.
Y'all found my spot. It's not my spot anymore.
That was the greatest spot. Is just they're just
Well,
like she's like, can we use the lounge? And they're like, what lounge?
It's very much a new dad thing to do.
Yeah.
Just like find somewhere to just pass out. Where nobody can find you, nobody can bother you.
It was the greatest
Yep.
thing ever. Now,
Yep.
I do question why this has been here and not a single person knows about it. And Gary and I also question why everything has a Star Labs logo on it, including
Even
the
co-
Keurig machine.
The coffee maker had a Star Labs logo on it. Why?
Do they have a Star Labs roasted bean?
Maybe.
Here's my
Star
question.
Labs
Why
roast.
didn't it just say Jitters?
Why didn't, or
Jitters is theirs. That's their coffee shop.
exactly.
That's like
Or
their Starbucks.
Make up a brand.
I still think
just-
Jitters would have been fine.
Jitters would have
You've
been
got
fine.
the logo created. You just put it on a
Exactly.
sticker, slap it on a coffee maker.
Right. Why does Star Labs need its
Need
own
a coffee maker.
Its own coffee maker. It's called visual subtext, in filmmaking terms. And what you do with visual subtext is you throw in details that the brain catches that isn't necessarily written into the script or like a part of the story. So.
Well, so the intention was the brain would catch and we know they're at Star Labs?
Yes. Oh, that's exactly what it is.
I actually never knew
Yes,
that.
That's exactly what it is. So anytime
Wow,
you see
I
like
never
a
thought
logo,
of that.
Yeah, it's like we were watching Eureka, and like the Global Dynamics logo, which is where they work, and Eureka is everywhere. As
Yeah.
though the people there who work there don't know where they are. Oh yeah, right, that's right. We're in Global Dynamics.
Where am I?
that's
Oh, right.
Oh, look at the poster. Oh,
I'm
it's
going
over
to
here,
try
too.
that. I'm going to put stickers that say Eligible Monster Productions.
Everywhere.
Everywhere around the
Everywhere, yep.
studio.
Oh, that's where I am. So yes, I thought the lounge was cool. I mean, it's.
I just loved the joke
They
that
had
came out
money
of it.
for a new set, I guess.
Yeah. We need a new space.
Yeah.
We
And
attached it.
I'm sad. The guy that plays Kid Flash is leaving, right?
I don't know the full story with that. From what I understand, he's leaving the CW shows.
Okay.
From what I understand, and this is just me doing brief looks, I haven't gone deep into anything, so don't
Right.
take this as like word of mouth.
Right.
You take it as word of mouth. Don't take it
Okay.
as like concrete. But from what I heard, he wasn't happy with how his character was handled. That somehow got him on Legends of Tomorrow. He didn't like that either, so he's just leaving the show, but he's going to do it gracefully. And I
Okay.
guess he's got another show lined up already.
Good.
So
Good
he's
for
already
him.
kind of done.
Good for him, because
Yeah.
I thought they didn't develop his character anywhere near
I feel
enough.
like that was such
They-
wasted potential to
it
introduce
was.
Kid Flash and
Yes.
then never have even a moment where really Barry was really training him
Or trusting him.
or trusting him or anything.
He was always trying to like hold him back.
The only thing we ever got with Kid Flash was the Flashpoint universe where he
Yes.
was the Flash.
Yes.
And he failed.
And he failed. Yes. It was a lot of wasted potential with Kid Flash. And I do have to point out one thing, that Joe West's reaction at the end of the episode to Nora, when he said, well, I guess this is a good chance to get to know my granddaughter. He grabs her, kisses her on the forehead. That was, for me, a great moment. It was great storytelling, because you have this character who's obviously been a dad.
Yeah.
Barry and Iris have not been parents yet.
They were that awkwardness.
They were that
Yeah.
awkwardness. He's like, "Oh, you're my grandchild. Great. Come here. Come over here. Give me a hug."
Yeah.
It was a very dad thing to do, because he's been there. He's done that.
Yeah.
He knows that it's important to the child to just be embraced and be taken in. Whereas, like, they've never been parents before.
Right.
How do we? And now she's an adult. Like, how do we handle this?
I do like,
You know?
speaking of that, I
Yeah.
do like that they didn't play on the whole thing of we don't believe you for very long.
No, they didn't.
They allowed everyone to accept it very quickly.
Well,
they
got
very
to
much
the-
comic book logicked it.
Yes. Well, they got.
Oh, you're from the future? You can run fast? All right, cool.
Great. Well, they did the DNA test.
Right, but like,
Yes,
and that's all it took.
That was like 3 minutes into the episode. Well, the DNA test came back. She's your kid. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, and there was
You know?
no awkwardness.
Right.
It wasn't like in Young Justice we have Superman and he's got a
Okay.
clone, and while it's making for a great storyline, Connor's never accepted by Superman.
Okay.
And Batman's always like, hey, why don't you train him? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I didn't want this. Like,
Yes.
you just kind of thrust a child clone on me. And I was
Right.
kind of worried when she showed up that we were kind of have that almost very similar plot.
Yes.
Like Barry was gonna be like, she's
Nobody
my
trusts
kid
her.
that can run. I didn't even teach Kid Flash. What do you want me to do with her?
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot to do something. Train Kid Flash. I knew I forgot something.
Damn!
Oh, that's like 2 seasons wasted.
Probably should have done that when Savitar
Yeah.
was here.
And
You know,
yeah.
and we could have just saved everyone.
Yeah. So it's supposed to train him, not like constantly remind him how much I don't trust him. Which doesn't make any sense either, because he's the brother to the woman I'm in love with. So
It makes even less
so I
sense
should
now.
treat him a little more fairly.
It makes even less sense now that he's like, yeah, Nora, let's show you how to do things.
Yeah, Kid Flash is like,
What the hell, man? It took me 3 seasons to get to this level.
hey Kid Flash, what's wrong? What do you mean, what's wrong?
Did you forget I'm a person here?
Did you forget that I'm Wally West and I'm technically faster than you? Like, did you forget that?
Maybe that's why he never trained him. Oh, you're
Yeah.
faster than me? Well,
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, Barry's got some jealousy issues.
That's what I do to Dan. I mean, I could teach him how to be the Comicstorian, but figure it out.
Yeah, secretly Dan is like better.
Oh, he's so much better than I am
Yeah.
at voices
yeah,
and acting and
all of it.
everything.
Yeah.
So I just need to hold him back forever.
Hold it back forever.
I don't want
That's
a kid
great.
Comicstorian, man.
Kid comic story. Kid historian.
Kidstorian.
But no, I really enjoy the episode. I think it's setting the tone. Gridlock was used purely to set up the main villain.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little
Absolutely.
sad about that because Gridlock is in the comics.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
a cool design.
Yeah.
To use him as just a person,
Yeah.
I didn't like
To
that.
set up the main villain.
Have you seen what he looks like?
No.
Let me pull him up for you real quick
Okay.
while we wind down the episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of CTV. We're running a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll see what Dylan can cut out to try and make it under an hour. We'll probably go a little bit over. But once again, if you want to support this show, please consider going over to our twitch.tv/eligiblemonster and subscribing, as this is filmed every Monday at about 2 p.m. Eastern. You can also find it over on our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where it gets uploaded along with 7 other podcasts and other projects over on there for the $1 tier. We also do things like movie nights, and we do raffle giveaways on Sundays, and you can get them over on Twitch as well and over on our Patreon. Just more things to consider. But if you want this to stay on Comicstorian, the YouTube channel as well, please consider giving this video a like, sharing it with your friends, telling us how much you enjoy it in the comments down below. We just need to know that you want this over here. It will always be on Twitch and Patreon. But if you want to hear on Comicstorian, we need to know. We just don't want this to turn into another Comics Tonight where we had to put it on hiatus to kind of retool it to try again. We want you guys to enjoy this. We want to have it over here. So, Gary, you can find Dan at DanTProducer on Twitter. You can find Natalie at Zodico Candy on Twitter. She's also got her own Twitch channel, Zodico Candy. Gary, what's your channel?
Film Circuit on YouTube. So go to youtube.com/C/Film Circuit. They gave me a C for some reason. And then you can also find me on Twitter at GaryCam4.
Yes, and the reason you have a C is because you are in the 3rd generation of YouTube channels.
Ooh.
First generation had nothing,
that.
2nd generation had a U, 3rd generation had C's.
Oh, now I know.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time right here.